everybody, Anthony here with Just Wingin It BBQ. Welcome back. And today I'm joined with my sidekick here, Miss Brooklyn. And before we get this video started, I'm just going to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We learned today that nobody in the Just Wingin It household has any barber skills whatsoever. So for the foreseeable future, I will be wearing this hat, and no, I'm not going to take it off to show you what it looks like. So now let's get down to business. Today, we have two beautiful boneless pork shoulders. They're about 10 pounds a piece, and we're going to be making some angry apple pulled pork. A buddy of mine said he's got a barbecue to go to tomorrow, and he needs some pulled pork that he wants to bring, but he wants it a little bit special, something different that everybody's going to enjoy. So we're going to be seasoning these up, putting them on our Grill's Silverback smoker. And while they're cooking, we're going to be spritzing them with our Angry Orchard Crown Royal Apple Spritz. And then we're going to also prepare a awesome barbecue sauce with these two ingredients as well. That's going to really complement the seasonings and the spritz for these. They're going to be awesome. We're going to show you exactly how we're going to do it. So stick around and let's just get to winging it.
And these two are really good because we're going to pour them in there.
Alright, we have one of our pork shoulders here. I'm going to show you how I prepare mine on this one, and I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process on the other one. I already went ahead and trimmed the fat cap almost completely off on both of these. I prefer much less of a fat cap than you normally see. Through trial and error, I've found that less of a fat cap works better for me. It's more about the intramuscular fat rendering down, and this is how I have pretty decent results, so this is how I do it. You don't have to trim your fat cap as much as I do, but this is how I do it and it works. I also prefer bone-in pork shoulders normally, but this is all I had at the store, so I went with that. But we'll have great results. So as our binder today, we're just using yellow mustard, and we're going to just do a nice thin coat all over this pork shoulder. And because this is boneless, we're actually going to take advantage of the extra surface area, and we'll be able to really season the inside of this shoulder as well, that you really wouldn't be able to do if you had a bone-in pork shoulder. So we're going to go ahead and season everything up. Start off with this binder, both sides. And normally, if you remember from my other videos, these larger cuts of meat, I do like to do an injection, but since we are able to season the inside of this shoulder, we're not going to be doing that today. So you just go ahead and get a nice thin coat. And our rub today is going to be the Grill's all-purpose rub. It's great stuff. Love it on pork. And we're just going to give a nice liberal coat of this rub all over. Don't be shy. Again, these shoulders are about 10 pounds a piece, so they can take a lot of seasoning. And like I said earlier, because they are boneless, we're going to take advantage of that extra surface area and go ahead and season the inside of this meat as well. And this rub is really going to help us build a nice bark on this pork, and our pulled pork is going to come out excellent. We'll flip it over, do the same thing on the fat cap side. And because we trimmed that fat cap down to almost nothing, is really not much of a barrier for that rub and our smoke to really penetrate this meat. That's another plus to trimming the fat cap more. You can really get that seasoning down into the meat. There's not much of a barrier there. With trimming, just experiment and find out what works for you. This is what works for me. just gonna press our rub in. This one's all finished. I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat the process on the other one. Then we're gonna get these things on the smoker. Alright, we have our pork shoulders all seasoned up. Now I'm gonna quickly go over the ingredients that we have in our spritz here. So I have in the spray bottle 2 tablespoons of grenadine, half a can of this Angry Orchard hard cider, 1 shooter of Crown Royal apple, it's equivalent to about a shot, and then a little bit of just regular apple juice. I brought it up to the 24-ounce mark. And what we're gonna do is just spray these shoulders as needed. We're just gonna keep an eye on them, and it's gonna help them build a nice crust and stay moist during the cook. Alright everybody, now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to prepare this barbecue sauce that we're gonna serve with our pulled pork. I'm gonna start off with 1 shooter again of the Crown Royal apple, sticking with that apple theme. Put that right into your saucepan. And next is a 1/3 of a cup of white vinegar. Two tablespoons of pineapple juice. 2 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. And a cup of barbecue sauce of your choosing. You can use whatever you like or whatever you have on hand. For this recipe, I used Grill's Congo Kick hot barbecue sauce. And you're just gonna bring that over medium heat. Whisk it so that the brown sugar is all dissolved. And we're just gonna let that simmer and cook down a bit. Let everything get all incorporated, cook some of that alcohol off. And once it reduces and it's to your liking for thickness, we're gonna go ahead and put it into a bottle so we can serve it with our pulled pork. Alright everybody, it's about 3:30 in the morning. I went ahead and sped this process up to save some time. And one of the benefits of having an almost 2-week-old in the house, they serve as an excellent alarm clock. And as we all know, good barbecue takes dedication, so here we are. We have our 2 pork shoulders that have been hanging out in the fridge. We're putting them right on the silverback here. We have the silverback preheated up to 225 degrees. And just a small tip, if you struggle with getting a good smoke ring, although it doesn't change the flavor of your meat, you want that aesthetic look. If you put your meat on cold, it will, in my experience, build up a better smoke ring. It will make your cook take a little bit longer though. So just a small tip that I found. We have a probe in each one of these shoulders down into the deepest part. One of them is hooked up to the silverback, and the other one is a Weber iGrill Mini that is hooked up to my phone via Bluetooth. And we're just going to make sure that the hopper is topped off with Grill's Competition Blend pellets. Silverback has a 20-pound hopper, so definitely don't worry about running out of pellets, just as long as it's topped off for this overnight cook, or early morning cook rather. Now we're just going to get this thing closed up, keep an eye on these, and spritz them as needed.
Alright everybody, it's been 6.5 hours. Our pork shoulders are looking and smelling amazing. That bark has set and it's to the point where I don't want it to get any darker. So now what we did was we just took them off the cooker, put them in a couple foil pans here, and we're going to take the rest of our Angry Orchard and we're just going to pour it just a little bit in the bottom of each. And this is going to help steam these things and get them up to 205 degrees. That's kind of where we want them so they fall apart and pull really nice for that pulled pork. Right now they're at about 165, 170, so they got a little ways to go. So this and tightly wrapping them in foil is going to help them along. So just going to get these covered up real nice, put them back on the silverback. We're going to keep it at 225 and we're just going to let them go until they hit that 205 degree mark. They should be falling right apart and they're going to be awesome. So we'll check back with you in a little bit. Alright everybody, it's been a total of 9.5 hours. Our pork shoulders are finished. We brought them inside after they reached about 208 degrees. We vented the foil pans to halt that cooking process. Then we tightly wrapped them back up and placed them in a dry cooler with some towels just so that they could rest and let the juices redistribute. We held them in there for about an hour and a half and they're still very hot, but look at these things. They smell awesome. That bark is absolutely gorgeous. And look at that jiggle. These are perfectly done pork shoulders that, let me just show you, no need for bear claws, nothing. We're going to do this right in front of the camera. They just are falling apart. Now that, and look at all that steam. Hopefully you can catch it with the camera. That is just absolutely beautiful pulled pork. And my buddy's going to be here in about 15 minutes. That's perfect. We're going to just shred this up by hand, put it in a foil pan here, and we're going to give him a bottle of that barbecue sauce we made to go on top. And hopefully everybody at the barbecue enjoys the pork shoulders that we worked so hard to make. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to show you every part of this process just in case you ever wanted to recreate it. Again, as always, like, subscribe, drop me a comment. If you want to make sure you don't miss any future videos that I put up, make sure you hit that bell after you subscribe. You'll get notifications anytime I post a new video. I'm trying to do 1 or 2 a week, just depending on how crazy the house is right now. But I'm trying to put out content for you guys. I've gotten some really good feedback, so I appreciate that as well. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, as always in the description of this video will be links to my social media accounts. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. And always remember to just keep winging it.